Many of you ask, or maybe not ask, but you try to have a logical explanation for things, and you tie it down to a singular event. You tie it down to, let's say, her education and the fact that she may not have graduated. And you're thinking she didn't graduate because, she failed a course and therefore, she's lying about this. She's lying about, being bigger than she is. Firstly, I just told you that a government official lied alongside her for this. So this is bigger than Nut. This is bigger than her individual circumstances and bigger than her trying to cover up her true history and life and identity. It's bigger. It's much bigger, and you've got to notice that there's a pattern throughout everything she's told us about herself. It's a narration, it's a narrative, it's a creation, a construct of an identity, and it's been backed and supported by royal experts, royal authors, UK media in Australia, media in Canada, media in New Zealand, media in US. Why is that? Why, along all the Five Eyes, have we been absolutely bombarded with this crap? That is a whole entire construct of an identity. I'm continuing on because we need to notice patterns. This is where you're going to really understand and like go, oh my God, like you're going to lose your breath. You're going to open your mouth and just your mouth will be on the floor. Once you get this, you will understand that this is a big system, this is a big pattern, and it's continual. It's not just one event, and you can't just justify logically one event with, oh yeah, she was probably just stressed, or she was probably just, failed a course, or whatever you want to say. This is not how it's actually happening, okay? I realized this because of the patterns and the constant debunkings that I was finding with like very, very strong, probably the main elements of the story, which was Megxit, which was, when they were leaving to become non-working royals, and the security and the big fight with the Queen. I realized when I debunked that, and I realized that it had all been created from the palace, that was when I had that mouth drop, and I was just like, oh my God, like, and I was actually like depressed and crying for a good week, because as I've said before, as an Australian, especially, I'm not like woke. I'm not from the 90s, so every other family being brought up in Australia before being in the 1990s or 2000s, especially the royal family, especially with Princess Diana, right? The royal family and the monarchy is our identity. It's they are our values, and that's why they have gotten away with so much, and have been able to be under this cover of a PR identity as a whole, including Todge, and fun-loving Todge, and oh yeah, he's just an Aussie battler. He's just a bit of a larrikin. That's what we call guys that are, funny, kind of jovial, playful, bit of a loser, but we just have a laugh about it because he's just having a bit of fun. That's a part of our culture and our values. So we've just played along with this for such a long time, and when the patterns actually just overcome your logic, overcome the whole explanations of things, you're just like, oh my God, like it breaks you at a certain point, because you feel just the betrayal of your own values. and your own beliefs, it's a lot to take in, and it's really hard. So anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but it's been a journey, and it will be a journey for you. So let's continue on with Spain, because as you'll notice with the pattern, you'll find out that she hasn't actually learnt Spanish. She didn't learn Spanish at all at that point. Now she's covering it up by learning Spanish and speaking it in Colombia. That's a very, very different Spanish, and that's newly learnt. I've lived all over, and I pick up languages very easily, and that is newly learnt Spanish, and it's not like, the whole dictionary either. Also, learning to tango is just so sad. But it's to gain more credibility of her story. That's the reason why they literally chose Colombia as well, was to make her speak Spanish and to go, oh my God, yeah, because she learned Spanish back when she went to Argentina and Spain. So I've already just proven that Argentina didn't happen. It didn't happen, guys. So you saying that, she could have still gone, she could have still got hooked up with a guy, that's just gossip. Like, we don't know this. We don't know any of it. What we go with is what we can find. What are the facts? At the moment, you're still going with this creation, this fabrication, and all this other shit that has been created to distract you from the truth. So let's just go with it never happened. Even if she went to Argentina once in her lifetime previously, that's still not the same event. And now I'll prove to you that Spain never happened, because the program that she would have needed to have gone through, IES, through Northwestern, first of all, wasn't available at that time. And second of all, the timelines don't add up as to when she would be going over there. And she needs to have a course in Spanish and qualifications in Spanish while she was studying at Northwestern University. She said she was learning 8 years of French, not Spanish. And she said that she learnt Spanish while she was in Argentina and then in Spain. That was the only time she learnt Spanish on the spot, supposedly. But this is a prerequisite, a requirement. You have to know Spanish before you go to Spain, before you go there. You can't just apply while she's in Argentina either. That's just ludicrous. You have to have a course, a literal course in it, and a qualification in learning 3 years of Spanish. She had no such course. So let's go through it. You're also going to find false testimonials by things associated with the larger system at play here. So yeah, let's go for it. Embassy by 2002, they offered this concept or this is the offering. Argentina. None of this, which for only 6 weeks of being there, not learnt fluent Spanish. So now let's move on to Spain. Straight after Argentina, which for only 6 weeks of being there, not learnt fluent Spanish. And she was accepted by Northwestern University and IES abroad to complete an exchange program in Spain. This has been confirmed and celebrated by IES abroad on social media, on their website, in articles. They've sworn testimony, and also Northwestern University. It's also been confirmed by Lady C and others. And it's also been confirmed by testimony by the Madrid director at the time. And his name is Javier Martinez de Velasco. Body language guy, I hope you don't kill me for that. I'm so sorry. And not herself, of course. She learned Spanish as well. And it's also been confirmed by testimony by the Madrid director at the time. And his name is Javier Martinez de Velasco. Body language guy, I hope you don't kill me for that. I'm so sorry. This was, by the way, just to pause, this is when I believed in YouTube presenters telling the truth. So don't mind me referencing, this was in 2023, mid 2023. So this is why I'm referencing the body language guy. And not herself, of course. She said this is where she learned Spanish as well, along with her Argentinian trip. Now, the thing is, to be allowed in the program offered between Northwestern University and IES abroad for her field, she was required 2 years learning Spanish in an actual course, in a certified course. 2 years. And at least one of her subjects at Northwestern University to be Spanish. Not 3 years, so 2 years. It's not possible she could just be learning Spanish off the bat in Argentina and in Spain to then be doing 5 courses in Spanish and be approved before she even went to Argentina. So before she knew Spanish, supposedly, she was approved to do this exchange in Madrid in Spanish. Yeah. Nat also needed to be back before finishing university 30 weeks prior to her completing. But it would have been only 25 weeks by the time she got back, making this event also impossible and fraudulent. Like Harvey Young, Martinez de Velasco changed his CV to reflect his sworn testimonial. But both of these men didn't think anyone would look at the university's records. You know, the universities they worked out prior or during. And so, in the Board of Trustees minutes of 2003, at Central Washington University, I found that Martinez de Velasco only resigned there from that last job before he went to IES, supposedly as the Madrid director. He only resigned that year in 2003. So, meaning he was living and working in the USA, in Washington, while Nut was supposedly in Madrid in 2002. He was there in USA until 2003. And from my records, not his CV or his LinkedIn or all that stuff, he was never a director in Madrid that I know of. He is now a director in Granada. So yeah, that, and I strongly doubt Northwestern offered IES Madrid programs that year, because I think it's called the Global Office of Northwestern University, which is in charge of all the exchange programs and programs abroad. On their Facebook, they only started posting singular programs by 2006. One of them was Beijing. I think the other was maybe Germany. I can't particularly remember. And by 2014, there were only multiple programs offered. And in those programs, Madrid was not included. So, I've just proven that Nut's identity of any credibility has been created and backed by something very powerful. And with the help of British media, royal experts and authors and YouTubers who pretend to be telling us facts, us truth, and us the reality that they've created or helped create. You can see who I'm looking to or looking at. Alrighty. So there you go. It's all a big joke. All of it's a big joke, and we're not laughing, but it's a joke for them. Velasquez was in the USA, not in Spain. He was never a director for Madrid. For her going over to Madrid, she was for IES. He was never a director at all there, ever, throughout his whole career. When he moved over there and he moved to Granada and became a director at Granada. I think he had some experience prior to in Madrid, but it wasn't a director role, and it wasn't at that time. It was way later. Everything else is in advance. When you think of the testing centers in Argentina, well, there was no testing centers in Argentina, but the testing centers that were created later on for politics and foreign officers, that was later done in 2017. You know, this guy came in much later, over a decade later. These are all lies